Hello there, and welcome to Prediabetes and the Path to Better A1C podcast. I am your host, Jenny Pena. I am a national board certified health and wellness coach, diabetes prevention program lifestyle coach, founder of GMP Coaching, and creator of the A1C Reset Protocol, which is my own 12-week health coaching program, private coaching program designed specifically for you if you're trying to lower your A1C, balance your blood sugar, ditch the brain fog, and figure out exactly what you need to tweak and change so that you can get that energy back and just live the best life. And today I have a treat. I have with me Katy Harvey. I'm going to let her introduce herself with all her credentials and everything that she comes, but I think that you're going to be so blessed with all the knowledge that she has.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here, Jenny. And I just have to say, your spiel at the beginning, it like rolls right off your tongue. I'm like, that was like a lot of things that you were able to say without stumbling over your words. I'm very impressed.
I
Uh,
guess it's after almost 2 years of doing this, I guess it just comes out.
yeah, it starts to come naturally. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, really excited to be here. My name is Katy Harvey, and I am a registered dietitian. I refer to myself as a non-diet dietitian. And what that means is that I don't believe in dieting. I don't think it serves people. And I essentially teach women how to stop dieting and how to trust themselves with food, how to trust their bodies, how to take care of their health with sustainable strategies that are evidence-based and all the things. So, I'm really excited to be able to have this conversation about how does all of that apply specifically to prediabetes and blood sugar stuff.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So, as you know, I always talk about a balance, right? Like not having something, not eliminating food groups and all of these things. But I would love to ask Katy, what would you say embrace this mindset or embrace this habit if somebody's trying to balance their blood sugar?
Ooh, I love that question. Okay. Um, I think 2 things come to mind for me. The first thing I already alluded to, which is that dieting is not gonna be the answer. I know it feels like the answer of, like, low carb, keto, intermittent fasting, all the things. Like, it feels like the answer because it feels like you're taking control, but all of the research is very clear that it's such a temporary thing, and for the vast majority of people, it does lead to a backlash on the other side of that, which is ultimately worse for your health, and that the more you do that, like, on the diet, off the diet, kinda yo-yoing thing, the harder it is on your body and on your health and on your blood sugar. So there's that of just like fundamentally, let's agree that that's not going to be a long term strategy for your health. And I can promise you that you 1,000,000% can take care of your health and your blood sugar in other ways. Like I'm all about that. And so the mindset thing that probably helps my clients the most is when I teach them to just start thinking about their food in terms of what it's breaking down into, because at the end of the day, all food in the whole planet breaks down into some iteration of carbohydrate, protein, and fat. And contrary to popular belief, even if you have prediabetes or diabetes, you do still need carbs. They're not the devil.
Please, please.
Yes. And so I when you just start thinking of food of what's it breaking down into and how can we mix and match and pair things together? So when you're having carbs, let's pair it with some protein and some fat and that's going to help to balance your blood sugar. And it's this like light bulb that goes off for people when they're like, "Oh my gosh, I can have things like a cookie and it's not going to destroy my health and I can do it in a supportive way by pairing it with something and then I'm not going to eat the whole package of a dozen cookies." So that I think is such a simple thing. If you can really embrace it, it will take you so far and it will give you so much more freedom with food.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I don't know if you know a little bit of my story, right? Like me being a pre-diabetic, like before I was 30, I sadly went on that diet train and I tried every single diet. Everything was, to me, it felt that if I didn't suffer, it was not working. It was almost
Yeah.
like it needed to be
Uh-huh.
hard and complex for it to count. Somewhere in my
Uh-huh.
head, that's what I
And I think
believe.
subconsciously, especially with diabetes and blood sugar stuff, people sort of feel like, well, I did this to myself and therefore I must basically be punished for it too.
Yeah, there's a lot of the guilt and a lot of the
Yeah.
misconceptions, and it's okay. Like me being Hispanic, like we eat rice every day. Like, oh, what is going to happen? I can never eat rice, or like I can never have bread. And then the solution is like, oh, I'm just going to completely eliminate it. But then it consumes you to the point that you're always thinking about food. Now,
Right.
when you're having somebody that is like, okay, and even disclose, like I also coach individuals that are using GLP-1s. And one of the things that they come in and tell me is like, oh, it's like, is this food noise? So let's think about, okay, those that are not on GLP-1s, and I actually coach them and I tell them you have to figure out how you're going to manage this without the GLP-1, right? Like you're taking it now, it's quieting a lot of that food noise. But what's going to happen when you taper off of it? So what are some techniques that you have seen with your clients? Okay, when you have this food noise, this is how you need to
Yeah, such a juicy topic. In fact, later today, I'm going to be doing a coaching call with my community literally about food noise. Like, it's such a hot topic.
yeah.
So, the way I explain this is that there are different types of food noise, and I categorize it as three different types. So, really, the key for any individual is understanding where their food noise is coming from. So, some food noise, I'm just going to call like the diet mentality of that thing of like, I can't have carbs. And so now all I think about is carbs. Or, um, the whole like good food, bad food thing will make people think about food more. There's research that shows that. So the more you're trying to diet and restrict your food or try to, even if it's not a formal diet like Weight Watchers or
Hmm.
whatever, if you're trying to like eat healthy or eat clean, all of that produces the same scarcity mindset in your brain. Your brain interprets that as a threat of food deprivation and it makes you
Hmm.
think about food more. So that's a really common type of food noise that, frankly, like the vast majority of society is walking around with because that mentality is what's taught to us. And then the second type of food noise is what happens when somebody is literally just not eating enough for any reason. It can be intentional because they're trying to lose weight or control blood sugar, or it can be very unintentional. And it's your body's way of protecting you, that if you're not eating enough, your brain is like, "Hey, we need to go find some food.
Hmm.
We
Hmm.
we need to figure this out. We gotta solve our own problem here." And so, a lot of people don't realize they're not eating enough because, again, it's been so normalized for us to think that, like, a 12, 14, even 1,500 calorie a day diet is enough for an adult, and it's usually not. So, we have this warped perception of what is enough food. So those are the first 2 reasons, and then this third one is what I call metabolic food noise, and this is what the GLP-1s treat. So, backing up to these other 2, if you're already, like, dieting and restricting and that's why you're thinking about food all the time, like, a GLP-1's not very good for that. That can actually become a very slippery slope for a lot of people,
Hmm.
and that's where we see individuals abusing and misusing those meds. But the more metabolic type of food noise, like insulin resistance, will ramp your food noise up because your blood glucose can't get into your cells where it gets used for energy. Or, people who might have like thyroid issues or other hormone stuff that's out of whack, that can ramp up food noise. And it's all just very biological. And so that the people who are taking a GLP-1 that are like, oh my gosh, this is like changing my life because I don't think about food all the time, not just because they're not hungry, but more at like the brain
Hmm.
level. That's a lot of times what's happening there is it's addressing those biochemical pathways. So the messy thing about this food noise discussion is a lot of people have 2 or 3 of these types of food noise happening simultaneously, and it can be hard to tease apart what's what, and we kinda have to, like, weed through that a little bit to figure it out.
And I have to admit, I was guilty. And now I'm framing even my content and how I address it. Cravings. Like, are
Yeah.
cravings good or bad? And at the beginning, I was thinking, like, you just don't want to have any cravings. And that's kind of like how your body is talking to you. So now I shifted a little bit. You're feeling a craving. What do you really need? What is your body really trying to tell you? Is it that you're thirsty? Is it that you truly skipped lunch and you need fuel? You genuinely need fuel and you shouldn't ignore it? Is it you're just stressed and you need comfort and food is comfort for you? Or did you have a bad night of sleep? And you're just so tired. Again, the body looking for that comfort
Mhm.
that you have associated with food. And that's why you're like, oh, I just like, I have this craving. And I always joke, and what is the difference between craving and hunger? And I'm like, well, if you look at an apple and you really don't want it, but you're craving something else, it's like, that's very specific. And it could be that physiological thing. Your body's looking for that fuel. So it's interesting how all these things pan out. Another thing that I see that a lot of my clients struggle with is not having mindful eating and
Mhm.
multitasking
Mhm.
and doing all that. What are some practices that you encourage people to do? Because a lot of people are like, "What do you mean by that?"
Yeah, I think
When
they
I
picture
mention
themselves like it's like picturing yourself meditating, but eating, you know?
no.
And I work through lunch and I'm, like, eating while I'm on my computer or eating in the car, like, I do it too. But
Yep.
certainly, can we try to be more aware when we're eating and aware of the experience of eating and the food and the taste and the texture and the pleasure that we get from it? Because that's a beautiful thing, and that's a big part of eating is we're not just robots that are, like, putting our little whatever in or sometimes I'll have people be like, "Oh, I wish I could just take a pill instead of eat and not have to worry about it." Like, "Oh my gosh, you would lose out on so much pleasure and joy in life if we did that." So, being able to, like, embrace that part of the experience by being more present for it. And the other thing that it helps us do is to pick up more accurately on our hunger and our fullness and our satiety cues so that we're eating both the type of food and the amount of food that is right for our bodies in the moment. And that's how we can become more internally regulated versus following some diet prescription or,
Mhm.
some calorie limit or measuring your food and all that. You can start to trust more that your body's going to let you know what you need when you're in tune with it, and it requires you to be more mindful.
Now, what is your take on intermittent fasting?
Hot topic. Yeah. I am not a fan, and for a couple of
Me neither.
reasons.
I'm open for all opinions, but
Yeah, and I know it's like there's different vantage points, and so to each their own. But I think for a couple of things, to me, it's very disruptive of a person's relationship with food. Like you're forcing yourself to just kind of dissociate from your body in order to do that. And when it comes to the health benefits that can theoretically come from it, we can accomplish those same health benefits in so many other ways that do not require you to live by the clock and deny your hunger and not be able to go out for breakfast with your friends or whatever it might be. I just had this conversation the other day. My son he took a lesson on pitching. He's interested in becoming a pitcher on his little league baseball team. And I don't know anything about pitching. So there's this college guy who does lessons. And we were talking about how it's not embarrassing to go ask for help or let somebody coach you on something. It's smart, it's wise, it's helpful. And he learned more in this 30-minute lesson than anybody had ever taught him up to this point in baseball. So, I wish that people could see that when it comes to something like this. Like, getting help is not something you should be ashamed of. You should be smart or you should feel like you're being smart for doing it because it
Mhm.
is.
Yep. And you're saving yourself time because let's face it, you start looking for all these things.
Yeah, like what are the common mistakes or pitfalls that people fall into because you've seen it 1,000 times. It's like, let us help you avoid some of that heartache and frustration and wasted time.
Absolutely, absolutely. What do you feel are some things that people struggle specifically when it comes to mindset, when it comes to cravings, when it comes to food noise and all of that, specifically for individuals that are having insulin resistance? And I know you talked a little bit about it, but is there anything else that they should be mindful of that may be something specific for this group of people, for the audience?
I think that people they live in so much fear of food and distrust of the food, distrust of themselves, feeling like the food in the supermarket is like out to get them because we see these people on social media be like, "You can't have this, it's toxic," and "Seed oil's this," and whatever that, and we don't need to live in fear of food. I wanna give you your power back, that you can figure out how to make any food that you would like to eat work for you and for your health. And it's all a matter of like, how are we mixing and matching and pairing? And what else are you eating? Like, nobody's saying you should go eat Oreos all day, every day. But yeah, I am saying you can incorporate Oreos and still be healthy. And I've got a lot of people who will come to me swearing that they are full on addicted to food, addicted to sugar, addicted to carbs. And it's so cool to watch over time where they progress to realize, okay, I wasn't ever addicted. I just had gotten into such a dysfunctional relationship with these foods that the compulsion was so strong that it felt like it was an addiction, and we'll get them to the point where they're able to not only have those foods in the house, but to forget that they're even there. They're like, "Oh, yeah, I found, like, a stale package of cookies in my pantry the other day." And so I want you to understand that it's very possible, even if it feels impossible right now, and I think that's a big mindset thing for people is like, if you're gonna live the rest of your life in fear and distrust around food, then you're gonna constantly be battling food.
Mhm.
And you can get to the point where you can be at peace with food while taking care of your health, and it does not have to be this all-consuming thing for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see that so much, right? Like there have been clients that I've had that when we set up, right, like we set up a goal, we focus on one specific shift and we're like, okay, let's work on this and let's see how it works. If we need to tweak it, if it didn't work out, it doesn't mean you're a failure. It just means that that was not the right activity for you and we'll
Absolutely,
pivot.
yeah, we understand what happened, we get curious, we adjust. Yes, it doesn't have to be this, like, "I failed, it doesn't work" type of thing.
Absolutely. So that is one thing that I try to, okay, how can you set good boundaries when it comes to eating out and going out? The one thing that a lot of my clients struggle with, and I think that is because of they have decision fatigue after a while. They feel like, okay, I cannot have another decision about food. Again, like a lot of this decision making, but then they cut out all social life. They don't want to eat out. And obviously, you're going to get tired of your own seasoning. Right, like, you're
It's
going
so
to get
true,
tired. You get a
so
meal, you can
true.
be a chef, but after a while, right, like, you can be,
Yeah,
"Okay,
or
I'm
a
gassing this
situation
up."
comes up where, like, you want to be able to eat out with friends or family, or you wanna go on a vacation, you know? That's real life.
So, the one thing that I know that a lot of my clients, specifically when they're having type 2 diabetes and pre-diabetes, is either the pressure, and we were talking about that initially, of why don't you have this? It's only one. And maybe you don't even want to eat whatever it is that they're trying to give you, but they're persuading you to do that. Or you make that decision to have that piece of pie or have that dessert. And then maybe your significant other is next to you and saying, "Are you sure you should eat that?" What would be some things that maybe a phrase, maybe there is some way, what would you tell somebody that is in that situation to manage that in a gracious way? And I know this is
Mm.
tough.
Yeah. I think it depends so much on who the other person is and your
Mm,
relationship to them and also the scenario you're in. Because there's a time and a place to be like, "Don't tell me what to do," like a little bit of sass. Sometimes it's like having like a heart to heart later on, maybe, when it's not in the heat of the moment and being able to say, "Look, it's just not helpful when you question me or encourage me or second guess me. Like, let me manage my own eating. Thank you." And just being able to, like, set that boundary and remind people of it. If it's the type of person you wouldn't have a heart to heart with, it's almost like, can you imagine yourself with a force field around you where the comment bounces off the force field back to that person because, like, that's theirs to own, that is not your stuff. And I know that's easier said than done, but if having that visual of the force field can be helpful. And what makes the biggest difference in my experience with that is if you feel rock solid and confident in how you are approaching your eating. That when you know how to handle restaurant situations and when you know how to incorporate carbs, people second guessing you or people egging you on isn't going to make you question yourself because you already know what your strategy is and you fully own it and embrace it. And I think like when you're sitting in that state of empowerment, you care less about what other people are thinking because they don't know you and your body's needs. And most of the time, they don't even know anything about diabetes. And so I think that is another reason to really have that clarity and confidence around your approach to eating is because it makes those types of comments and situations so much easier to handle because you're like, you just kind of start to roll your eyes at a certain point. You're like, yeah, okay,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. And I usually say, I'm like, "Okay, if you know the restaurant that you're gonna go, have a plan
Yeah.
and make
Yeah.
that
Have a game plan
determination."
ahead
Like,
of time.
okay,
Hmm.
like, "Oh, they're known for the best cheesecake ever." Or if you're going on vacation and I'm like, "I'm sorry, if you're going on vacation and that place is famous for fill the blank, have fill the blank because you're gonna
Yes,
regret
plan
it if
on
you
having
don't.
it. Exactly.
And
Yeah.
incorporate that. And another thing that I had a few clients that they had to do it with their spouses. That was interesting. But I was like, okay, like they're really genuinely doing it because they love you and they want to help you. So maybe reframing and saying, I know that you love me and you want to help me. This is how you should
Yes,
support
yeah,
my
directing
journey
them towards what they can do instead. Yeah,
instead. Because
yeah,
sometimes they just want to help, they just don't know how. And they're coming with the same diet mentality that most of us have. And they're
totally.
thinking about the extremes. And that's all they know. And that's how they're showing love.
Yeah, and
So
I
that's
think the very
another way.
surface level understanding of blood sugar for most people is like, "You shouldn't eat carbs," or "You just shouldn't eat sugar," and it's like, well, that's not how that works, and so, a lot of your loved ones probably have those assumptions, and it's not your job to fully educate them, but yes, I love that idea of, like, here is how you can help, and giving them some other tangible things they could do.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are going to wrap up. I want you to give, if nobody paid any attention to anything that we just babble along, and if there's one thing that you would like the audience to leave with, what would that be?
I would say, stop dieting. Stop dieting. It is making your blood sugar and your insulin resistance worse. You can be healthy without dieting. And I know you might not understand that yet, but if you dig into the reasons why diets don't work, you will start to get it.
So, I would love for you to share a few things about yourself. You have been so gracious to share your knowledge. So, I would love for people to know who Katie is. So, what is that? And again, I'm going to use this, even though we know that probably you're going to be like, no, Jenny, it's not guilty. But what is that guilty pleasure when it comes to food that you really enjoy?
Ooh, when it comes to food, my 2 nighttime snacks, I almost always eat a snack at night in bed while I am watching TV after my kids have gone to bed. It's like, finally, my husband and I can, like, talk to each other and have quiet time and watch the TV show we wanna watch, and I almost always have either some type of cereal, and it will be, like, Cinnamon Toast Crunch or, Fruit Loops or whatever, or I'll have ice cream. It's those are kinda my 2 go-tos at that time of day, and I don't feel one bit guilty about it.
Okay. What is that vegetable that you're like, no, thank you?
Peas. I have a terrible memory of peas as a child at the babysitter, being forced to sit there. I don't like them, the smell makes me gag, and she told me I couldn't leave the table until I ate my peas, so I sat there all afternoon until my mom came, and to this day, I will not eat a pea. This is why we should not force our children to eat vegetables, by the way. There's other
Okay.
ways to help them like them.
Oh God, that is a fun story though, but I'm sure it was not fun for you.
Isn't it wild, though, how stuff like that can stick with you decades later?
It's amazing. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Okay. Cream or black?
Cream, half and half. I don't like anything flavored, I just want the straight up half and half.
If you were not a dietitian, what would you be doing?
The thing I wanted to do, and I was so seriously set on this, was become a criminal profiler for the FBI. Like, I'm so into all the, like, true crime and the psychology of it and stuff, and I was reading books about it in high school, and I had my heart set on that, and I don't remember even why I switched to dietetics because that was pretty hard left turn, but here we are, and I'm glad that I made this choice in hindsight.
So thank you so much. Please share. I mean, I will put all your information in the show notes so that people can connect with you, can follow you, and if they want to hire you as a dietitian, absolutely. But please share where they can find you.
Out on both Facebook and Instagram, so whatever your platform of choice is. I love hearing from people in the DMs. It's really me. There's nobody else in my DMs. It's actually me answering. So if you ever message me,
That's
for
me
real,
too.
that's
I
me behind the
refuse
phone.
to hire a VA. I feel like I'm giving something away. Like I like to hear from people.
Yeah, and I have if you like Facebook groups, I have a Facebook group over there that's all about intuitive eating, so I can pass on the link to that. And then, for anybody interested in more about food noise, I have a free guide. It's called How to Stop Thinking About Food All Day. So if you go to nondietacademy.com/food, I will send that over to you for free.
Thank you so much, Katie, for your time. This has been such an amazing experience. And I love to have these conversations. I mean, I could talk about nutrition and food and behavior and mindset all day, every day. Like, this is just my passion for
Same.
real.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just amazing. So, and I love that we resonate. It's not about the extreme dieting. Like, you don't
I
have
know
to
it's
get
so
into these
refreshing to find other people who
extremes.
agree with that because I also argue all day long on the internet with people about these things. So
Carnivores love me. Carnivores
I
love me.
triggered the key.
And what I typically tell them at the end is like, it can you eat like this for the rest of your life? If you're
Mhm.
happy and you feel great and your doctor is looking at your labs and everything is good and you can do this for the rest of your
Right. You
life.
do you. Yeah. You wanna know what's funny though? This is kind of an aside, is the doctor who, like, created the carnivore diet and popularized it, he doesn't even follow it anymore.
I ended up having to do a bonus podcast talking about that
I love
because
this.
it was a matter of what is happening that everybody's pushing. And as a side note, as we close, a lot of these groups, you need to figure out when you go on Reddit, when you go on Facebook. I know you're probably looking for information. You have to see who are the moderators, what is the hidden agenda. Not everybody's going to come with science back.
1,000,000%. Yeah, you need to vet who these people are, and some people look very legit on the surface, and yeah, what's the agenda? Because a lot of times, if they're personally profiting off selling you something like books and supplements,
Mhm.
then, of course, they want you to buy
Yeah.
into that.
I remember I was in a group. They asked about something. All I did was mention the balance plate, right? Like how you should put all the different food groups. All of a sudden, I'm like, it's an admin attacking me. But it was because the group, it was sold as to help people with type 2 diabetes, but they were really advocating a specific diet style.
And ha
And all I was talking was about the balance plate.
like, an extreme viewpoint, you know what I mean? Like
I was in shock. And I'm like, "Oh, okay, like, wow, like this is very strong." And that tells you that you may land into one of these groups and you see a one note.
yeah, yeah,
So just be mindful that you may not have the difference of opinions in a group, and you have to see, okay, what is really happening? And is it
yeah,
science based? Because if one
right.
person was successful at doing one thing, it's not the same as when you're having many people being successful. There's no
Yes,
likelihood of you reaching your goal by doing
yes.
that and following science a little bit. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, but it is
No,
true.
I agree. I say that all the time. I have to make it clear to people. I stand for science, and I understand individuals will have certain experiences. I still stand for science.
Yeah, yeah. So awesome. Thank you so much, Katie. And as always, every Friday, a brand new episode. Either it's going to be me solo or an amazing guest like today that is like a treat for my audience, bringing in science based strategies, things that actually work and not backing up the extremes that some people may advocate out there. So just talk to your doctor, try to find people that are specialized. Have somebody like Katie if you know that you need to work with all of the food noise and the mindset and the relationship with food that sadly all of us have been impacted with years and years of diet mentality. Have an amazing rest of your week. Until the next one.